Hi, I'm Lynette Nylander.
And I'm Leah Chernikoff, and this is Harper's Bazaar's The Goodbye,
where we invite celebrities, designers, models, and tastemakers to talk shop. What they buy, where they got it, and why it matters.
So, Lynette.
Hello.
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 Hello. We are entering into spring.
Yes.
What things have you bought recently that have made your heart sing?
There's no better way of getting cozy, at least in my life, than the Salter House. Salter House is an amazing phenomenon. It's a homeware come houseware emporium. Started off on Atlantic Avenue. Sandeep Salter, a good friend and purveyor of this shop and the goods in it.
Purveyor of fine goods.
Has made the shop that's become a bit of a cult thing. And
yeah,
particularly
totally.
around the Brooklyn mom scene. But she has this line that she creates in how she makes everything herself, everything in New York. So it's tariff busting. And it's she has a selection of beautiful cotton nighties. And I'm telling you, they're all under $100. They enhance your sleep. You just feel great. You feel like you have the ceremony of getting up in the morning, of putting yourself to bed at night. Yeah, I just can't say enough about how great I think these nighties are. They're the perfect gift. Get one.
You've sold me.
Yeah.
I want one. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I have been thinking about, it's also sleep and bed related. We have 2 cats and
What are their names?
Seaweed and Noodles.
Seaweed and Noodles.
My older child named them after his favorite foods.
Love that.
Yeah. They're very sweet, but they have really roughed up our duvet cover. We need a new one. And so, yes, I've been courting different ones. We were just talking about Tekla, and I love Tekla. I have actually a long sleeve t-shirt from Tekla that I love, but they're really known for their bedding and pajamas and fun colors. So that would be really nice if I could just take the plunge and get a renewed, because they've done some damage.
Yeah.
Those sweet cats.
Yeah, and bedding is so hard. It really goes through the ringer. But Tekla is an amazing investment. I have a Tekla
Do you
bedding
think it will
set.
stand up to Seaweed and Noodles?
I think they've met a formidable opponent
in Tekla.
You know, I'm a big believer in dressing your bed the same way you get dressed in the morning.
We talked about this. Dress your bed.
Give it some fancy vibes.
Yes, the throw pillows, the accessory.
The dust ruffle.
I do like it. Well, I also you can just put storage under.
That's why I like it. Today on The Goodbye, we have an artist, model, and tastemaker who single-handedly brought capital F fashion to our nation's capital.
We're talking Miu Miu, Tom Brown, as well as her own designs to the biggest political stages in the country.
She's walked for the runways of Coach, Princess Schuyler, and Balenciaga. She is a Parsons design graduate, an avid knitter and crocheter, and she's created community around her love of craft, launching Soft Craft Club, her Substack last year, as well as Soft Hands Knit Club, her IRL knitting event series.
She is a light on social media, showing glimpses into her world, whether it's crocheting a pair of pants in what seemed to be a few hours, making picture frames, or even showcasing her love of pickleball.
She is a Gen Z style icon, and we can't wait to pick her brain about all things style. Welcome to The Goodbye,
Ella Emhoff.
Emhoff.
And we have to start because I think this moniker that's often attached to you, I saw you giggle a little bit about Gen Z style icon. It probably goes hand in hand when people also describe you as the first daughter of Bushwick. Yeah. So would you care to comment on either of those things?
Yeah, I think it's just funny. All of this, how everything has happened has just been very funny to me. And I think growing up, and especially people who knew me when I was younger, I was not stylish. I was definitely kind of just throwing on whatever my brother wore or whatever novelty t-shirt my mom brought me back from a trip. I really didn't care about it. So I still see myself as that little kid who doesn't have that taste, I guess. And it's just anything like that. Saying I'm a tastemaker or anything of a leading charge always makes me kind of bashful because it's just surreal.
Yeah.
We're gonna just embrace, I think.
I'm trying.
Yeah, that's
I'm
all we
trying.
can do.
It's
And-
just silly.
And you also told us you do not live in Bushwick.
I'm sorry, I don't live in Bushwick anymore. I did. I really loved it there, but I am no longer the queen of Bushwick.
The first daughter of Bushwick.
That's sorry.
Which I just love, and I love that was given to you like for the 1 year, you know, your welcome apartment to New York, and then they're like, you can just have this for life, and you're like,
Well, you know what it is? I think one of the first interviews I did was for Garage Magazine, and they had made the title something like The King of Brooklyn Knitting or something like along those lines. And then people, once the
morphed.
inauguration happened, people
Yeah.
were just like picking from that article because it was the only one I've ever done.
Right.
So then it just kind of spun into this whole beast of its own. Like the Gen Z style icon, like that's just funny. Like I understand where that came from, but the first daughter of Bushwick really just kind of it has a life of its own, and then I think it's birthed this whole meme around Bushwick Art Kid where they've used some photos from my Instagram that have really presented my old style, which was definitely more Bushwicky, you could say. A lot of like cool, colorful patterns morphed together, funky silhouettes. It was definitely like going to the thrift store and picking out whatever felt good. So I think that's where it really started to snowball.
Yeah, wait. So I want to know how you got from just throwing on novelty t-shirts to now.
It's like a funny journey because I feel like I've lived so many different lives in general, but also through my style. Because the way I was in high school, like you wouldn't even be able to recognize me.
Why? What is high school Ella?
It was like very like Tumblr emo. I had gauges. I had black hair. I would like eyeliner, raccoon style. I still pull from that. Like I'm not ashamed of any of the, because I went for it. I always have gone for it and I've never been ashamed of it. And I still like to pull from it. But looking back, it's fully just, what were you doing? I would wear the American Apparel disco pants, like 2000s platform Sketcher leather boots, and then a UNIF, like, not baseball, football jersey that they made. Yes.
Oh, can I just to interrupt to the listeners at home and to anyone watching, UNIF, for those who know, was the 2010s brand of choice for anyone who lived their life on Tumblr, myself included.
And that was a lot of my middle to early high school, basically until I realized that I wanted to start dating. I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm going to wear the weirdest stuff and
I like that. You're going to find the right person with that style, though.
Yeah.
No, and I think I also went to a super small school where I could count on one hand how many people were kind of eccentrically dressing like that. So it was fun to be able to do it and dye my hair a bunch of colors. And it was a good time to experiment while kind of pushing the boundaries of myself and the people around me.
That's what you're supposed to do at that time.
Yeah. Where do you feel like your style is now?
When I had first started doing fashion stuff, I was really I had just like fun access to clothes and kind of a world that I'd never experienced. So I was going really hard, wearing crazy pieces with crazy pieces, super flashy. And I was doing more of the circuit of going to Fashion Month and doing that. But now I've kind of, relaxed a little bit. I think in the past year or so, I've just wanted to prioritize comfort and just that uniformity almost, where I have just a set of pieces that I love wearing or silhouettes that I know are going to work and just having quality pieces. And it's very based in menswear and sportswear and just tailored dressing. Like I feel like I used to dress like a tomboy, whatever you want to call it. And I think I was pushing to kind of dress more feminine once I started modeling and kind of getting out into that world. And now I feel like I'm referencing more of how I dressed when I was really young, which is just sportswear, big shirts, big jeans, just kind of not thinking too hard about it. Because I felt like my style before was hindering my creative process because I was spending so much time trying to figure out what like perfectly balanced high fashion outfit I was going to wear.
Yeah.
That I was then looking at my work being like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm putting in too much. I'm putting in the effort that I would put there into styling this stuff, which I love doing it, but I don't have that same like for styling and kind of putting looks together like that as I may have in the past.
And that it shouldn't be this tumultuous thing in your mind. Like it should just be like, I tried something, tomorrow's another day, we'll figure out a new outfit then. Talk a little bit about what you chose to wear today.
I'm wearing a Perks and Mini big quarter zip, just windbreaker thing. I'm wearing some comb, baggy pants. They're from, I think, the early-ish to no. They'd have to be from like the mid 2010s ish. I got them at this big Dover Street Market sale, and I love them. And then I'm wearing these little kind of athletic wear beaded ballet Mary Janes by Charles and Keith.
This is like the thing right now.
This is what's up.
Yeah.
Like the mixing of, I think if we're really talking about my style, it's the mixing of kind of rough, masculine, kind of utilitarian products with more style-based, fashion-y,
details,
feminine.
And stuff. Yeah, like the beading, the Mary Jane.
Yeah. Like a wild thing mixed with something super simple and pared down. Like that's where I like it right now.
It's a journey. And here you are at like a place of comfort. But I just also want to say, I think it's like very relatable to have that put a lot of mental effort, sometimes anguish into like figuring out what to wear. I think that comes for all of us.
And especially when and I hear this from a lot of my friends who do fashion content or just work in fashion, like when it's your job to do that, there's a pressure that is there that isn't there when you're just dressing for yourself. Like I felt that when I was kind of transitioning from doing textile work for fun and then transitioning it into kind of my career path, I had to find the balance of what are the things that I'm going to do with it that are just for me and for fun, and then what is the stuff that's work? Because once it melds in too much, you're just...
Yeah, it's hard to hold on to the joyfulness.
Yes.
I want to talk about your fashion on the political stage and some of the things you blew the top and the minds of people.
When you showed up in that Miu Miu coat, we all lost our mind. It was like a little gift to all the little fashion people. We're like,
yeah. I clapped it.
Miu Miu?
I was like, all right,
Yeah,
style
slow clap.
and elegance is entering the arena. Like, this was super exciting. Had you always been a fan of Miu Miu and you were like, okay, obviously this really big thing's happening in my life. Like, I want to wear Miu Miu. Can someone reach out? Or was it they reached out to you? Like, how does this even happen?
Well, it's so funny because as with a lot of things with huge events like this, I didn't really know what was happening. And like they didn't really say like, oh, you're going to go on this huge thing is going to blow up. No one knew that was going to happen to me. So when I was picking out an outfit, like my mom and I just got a stylist who pulled a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
like
I like this.
I didn't work with Miu Miu. They hadn't reached out.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to, I didn't have any brand relationships. I hadn't even officially been signed at IMG yet. So I was very much so unaware. I wasn't even like following the fashion calendar. I was not in the fashion zone. But when I was trying on a bunch of stuff on, it was the first thing I tried on. And it had the perfect meld of what I know that they want, which is a little bit more of a modest, not too flashy silhouette. But also, it's me.
Yeah.
And I was deep in I was at Parsons. I was a couple years into living in New York. I was feeling like renewed, I guess. Like I was beginning, I'd like ended like my high school relationship. So I was just like in New York with my friends, feeling hot and dressing up.
And feeling yourself.
And feeling myself.
Yeah.
I mean, it was also really cold.
Yeah.
And that was another thing. I'd never really been to DC before. I didn't know how weather was going to play into it, but I feel like I could have even used, I had a Batsheva dress under, then the Miu Miu coat, then gloves, and hand warmers. And I was still like,
Whoa.
looking around at all the former presidents, like, what is happening?
Yeah. That's so wild.
And it was funny because I feel like I was really easy to stand out at the inauguration because everyone was wearing a jewel tone or some monochromatic thing.
Like DC really adheres to these codes, and no one likes to stray from them, and that's why it was so exciting to see.
I didn't even know there were codes, and I think that's why I've continued to break fashion barriers and in politics, and I guess in Washington, because I just, specifically with the fashion stuff, like, I don't know. There really hasn't been someone, I guess, with my taste or style or kind of preferences. Not saying that former people have had bad style. It's just different.
Yeah.
I think it was, I think everyone was just kind of like seeing it. I think seeing what I was wearing in a different context, it wouldn't be so crazy. I also wore Tom Brown.
Yeah.
And I wore that to one of the ceremonies with the National Guard, maybe? It was at one of the monuments, and we were just like standing there, and it was such a cool moment and such like a special time to be wearing Tom Brown.
Yeah.
I wish I spent more time in it.
Yeah.
Do you still have it?
They let me keep the coat that I wore over it, and I have it saved with like my DNC dress and a lot of the other kind of like fashion memorabilia I have.
It's amazing. It's what a trip.
Yeah.
And you're still so young. It's so amazing, like the life you've lived. But let's take you back to the first buy. Is there something that you always coveted, or was there something that you bought for the first time and you thought, hey, I'm interested in style. I want to explore this. Like, what was that first thing for you?
I think there's like two separate first things for me. I think the first thing for me pre-being and engaging with fashion was my Coach leather crossbody vintage bag. That was such like an epitome of just nice construction, everyday bag, something that would last me forever. And to this day, I've always been super intentional about the stuff that I buy and the longevity of it. I still have that bag, and it's beaten to death, but it holds up really well.
Yeah.
That was my peak buy of like young Ella. And then older Ella, my first buy where I was like, oh, I get it. I get why people do this. I get why people put their work, like their money into this. Is after I had walked the Balenciaga Couture show, which was like already crazy for me. I bought a pair of the like steel toe kind of platform combat boots.
Right.
And I just went to the store and bought them. It was the most expensive thing I'd ever bought at that point. And I was just like, this is it was important because I loved those shoes, and then I ended up wearing them for years.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of getting myself in the headspace of, no, you're allowed to treat yourself to something nice when you've worked, and you want to kind of give yourself a present.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was and I'm still not that person to just be like, I'm going to treat myself to something expensive and nice. But I think that was the first time where I was like, it's okay. Like, you're in this fashion world, like you can engage with it and have fun with it.
What was that experience like, walking that runway?
I was definitely an extremely self-conscious like kid. So much stage fright, couldn't even give a presentation in front of my class, like super wanna be in the sidelines. So once I moved to New York and I started surrounding myself with like my people and people who kind of pushed me to be myself and have more confidence.
Yeah.
I think that the whole idea of modeling became less like I would never do it, and more so like, oh yeah, I'm in New York, like it's around me, whatever. But even after I did my first show before I did couture, like it was COVID. So it was just an online show. So I still didn't have that experience of, oh, I'm walking
like
live.
being in the lineup.
Everyone's watching.
Yeah. And even for the inauguration, there wasn't anyone in the crowd. Like I still didn't have that experience of that nervousness of walking out and knowing there's people looking at you everywhere. Because it's different when it's cameras. I was walking out for like a director or just whoever was on stage. And like I couldn't even see them.
You can't imagine it. But yeah, then you're on the Balenciaga runway or on the TNC stage.
Well, I mean, I think actually the Balenciaga runway helped me get over a lot of that stage fright because it was so small and it was such a huge moment and such a fashion moment that you kind of just had to do it.
Yeah.
And then the next show I did, which I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Miu Miu. Way more intimidating.
Yeah.
I really like the kind of preppy, kind of coastal vibe right now also. Like I've been wearing a lot of polos, Sperry's, all of that. Because it's just, it is that kind of just like functional and it's a little freaky in a weird way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of enjoy that because you're making a fashion statement with also wearing just regular, normal,
dad
comfortable.
clothes.
It's dad clothes.
If you're aware it's freaky, then it works.
Ella, what is something you regret buying? And I know you've got a good one.
Is it recent?
It's funny because I keep talking about this freaking sale, but it was at the Dover 7-year sale. And I will say, after being in that sale, it makes you feel a little feral in there. Money doesn't matter.
That's what sample sales do too. It's like a different atmosphere, and you just do things that you wouldn't otherwise do.
I don't regret buying anything but this one piece. I've worn everything. I bought a lot of comb. I bought some Molly Goddard. It was great. Yeah. Super exciting. I got this Loewe dress. And I don't know what I was thinking. It was also still really expensive.
Yeah.
It's blue. It has a huge, almost like Victorian prairie collar. And it's got a really tight bodice and a huge skirt.
Okay.
And like big billowy sleeves.
Okay. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great to look at. But again, it was one of those freaky pieces where I got it. I was like, I'm going to wear this to all the events.
Not a one.
I get dressed for these events. Like, I don't need a dress like that.
Yeah.
And it was like a full runway piece. And I got it. And then it just proceeded to take space and sit in my closet for a year and a half until I decided to sell it. It was one of those things where in the moment, deep inside, I knew I wasn't.
You knew, I
know. I think I had a really different thought process to shopping then than I do now.
Yeah.
Where then I was buying pieces that I wanted, like I wish I could wear, like I wish it was in my style, comfortability in my wheelhouse. And
you were pushing yourself.
I was pushing myself, but every piece was pushing myself. So then I had a closet of stuff that I had no like foundation.
No easy grab.
Yeah, I had no foundation, so I only had pieces that were stressful. And then I have this dress, and I'm like, oh my God,
stressful closet. No one needs that.
No, and now my focus is foundation pieces and then using all of the other things, like just decorations.
Yeah. I think that's fine. I think we're panicked. I also have a regret buy from that sale as well. We won't get into it, but like I think like you just in a weird way, I still co-sign it because it's better to have known. It's better to have tried and known to have never known at all. Nothing haunts you like the vintage you didn't get.
When I was kind of in my Depop days, I had this super sick baby blue Lakers jacket that had Lakers in rhinestones.
Yeah.
And it was just the perfect, like, kind of bomber varsity jacket mix, similar coloring to this. Then I sold it, and then I saw someone at Parsons wearing it. And they bought my piece. I was like,
why did I do that?
And then I had to see, she was in my major, and then I just see her all the time wearing my jacket. It was horrible.
Oh, wow. This is a level of like Depop kind of that you don't anticipate.
Yeah. You don't, it's almost like running into an ex every day.
Yeah.
But it's a jacket that you.
Right, that you regret selling.
Depop and romantic exes, there is so much more of a correlation than we think. That's
There's like some kind of like essay there.
No, I was going to say, I feel like I know a few writers who would love to deep dive into this.
you should do
Yes.
it. You should get another
us.
Harper's
Yeah.
Bazaar thing you should write. What is something that you buy and repeat?
Oh, this is easy. White t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
T-shirts in general. I actually just did a huge I make these master lists of kind of products that I get recommendations from all my followers, and then I put them into a spreadsheet
Love.
and kind of categorize them by price, inclusivity, kind of what they're
Okay.
made of, and brand and stuff.
Oh, it's
Tell us more.
So I did one on t-shirts, and I had like 400 responses, and I categorized it. But I did that because for the past 3 years, I've been buying a lot of t-shirts and testing them out because I'm wearing one right now. Like
Yeah.
I wear one every day, and I
Right.
found that it's become the basis of all of my outfits, but not each one is made the same.
Can you
Oh,
top
yeah.
5 us? Oh. Okay, she's ready.
Okay. Number 1 right now is Everybody World.
Yeah.
Jenna Lyon said this too.
It is the best. Like, it's the perfect, especially if you're looking for that boxy kind of cropped, a little more street style vibe. That one's the best. Great material.
Okay.
I love it. I also really love the Calvin Klein, like fine ribbed, like cap tee ones. It's like a baby t-shirt. I found it at the outlet mall. It's great. It's a little expensive for the quality, so it's not something that's going to last you forever, but the shape is really nice. I just, through this whole thing, discovered this brand, Plain Jane, that is New York based.
Okay.
And they have really mastered the understanding of no shirt is created equal. They only make t-shirts, but they make them with different sleeve lengths. So there's one that's a longer short sleeve,
Yeah.
a true short sleeve, and then a cap sleeve. It's more of like a dealer's choice
Yeah.
of what you want to do.
Right.
I also really there's this brand called Blanks by 13. They just make
Blanks.
blanks. And it's similar to the Everybody World,
Yeah.
but a little thicker, more structured, kind of similar to like a Uniqlo U situation, which is next on my list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also a great
Uniqlo,
one.
I think, is price-wise, quality-wise, accessibility,
One of the
size
best
range.
things out in the universe.
It's really good. Same with Muji. I kind of have those ranked in a similar vein. Like they both have great silhouettes, almost fashion-y silhouettes at kind of like not fashion-y prices.
Yeah, for sure.
Which
It's a gift.
is a gift. But there were some crazy ones on there. There was a Shaq collab t-shirt that people really liked. Old Navy got a lot of love for sure. And then the one brand, Murs B. Schwernen, who did Jeremy Allen White's shirt from The Bear. A few people recommended that, but I think they also had the caveat of like, this is really expensive.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting what I found from doing this weirdly in-depth research is t-shirts can get so expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like over like $180.
Oh, that's like
Lynette's like, that's my mid-price.
No, not at all. Not at all. I not at all. I totally appreciate. Listen, I have a theory t-shirt. I think it's called the classic tee or the baby tee or something. It's a t-shirt on Theory. All white t-shirts from Theory are great. That's like $50, and I'm like, oh.
I know. I still always think a white t-shirt should be $20, but also
They're not.
They're not. They're really not.
My mid range was from like 20 to 50-ish
Yeah.
dollars, and that was the biggest one.
Yeah.
Like most people were like, yeah, I know it's more expensive, but they last you so much longer. So
Yeah.
it is the
I know. I feel like they're all around $70 now.
Yeah.
The nice ones.
in true me crafty fashion, I was like, what do I do with all these stained t-shirts? I can't donate them. I would never.
Yeah.
They're just gross. And like, I'm not going to just throw them away. So I've started turning all of my old t-shirts into yarn.
Wow. Amazing.
Come on. This is a crafter, ladies and gentlemen. Like, I can't do that. I just use them as like rags.
Yeah.
Or
Or something like that. But I think it's like, and whenever I buy like really shitty t-shirts and I know like whether they're going to get stained by me, they're just going to get stained by
Yeah.
sweat or whatever. I'm basically just like
Yeah.
getting myself rags, getting myself some yarn, new material.
Yeah, you're a queen of crochet. You're a queen of knitting. Witchery of wool. I just tried
I
to
was
say
like,
something.
where's she going? Oh, it's so good.
Oh,
It's
I love
good,
it.
right? It's
Yeah.
good. That's good. It's good.
Witchery of wool.
It's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Oh, I
Okay,
love
so
that.
you have to. So stupid. You have to talk through some knitting, like what brands do it well. What's a good sweater? What's a good crochet?
Where's the
piece?
best yarn? Like,
Okay.
yeah. Talk to your your
Yes.
people.
I think right now, my favorite knitwear is coming from Story MFG.
Yeah.
If you know of that brand, they do a lot of cute, beachy, but also a little like fairy in the forest, mystical. They have like produced knitwear that just has such a beautiful feel and artistry to it that I think a lot of brands, when it comes to knitwear, don't put in that extra effort
Right.
of like the handmade quality. Like Elder Statesman is another great example of just like really treating knitwear the same way that you're treating the other pieces.
Yeah.
And because I think like it's so easy to just make like, yeah, the row is going to have an amazing sweater.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these brands are going to have great sweaters, but it's just like a sweater. It's not usually like the main
event.
the main
Yeah.
event.
Yeah.
And I like how they, and Sky High Farms also does this too. It's like they make the knitwear the funky piece, and then there's
Yeah.
more things supporting it.
Yeah.
So I think like that wise, like that's who I think they're doing it. Also on Instagram every day, there's just 10,000 people making some of the coolest knits I've ever seen
Yeah,
just
100%.
from their room.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I learned to knit in the pandemic. I wonder if I could still do it, but it's just,
It's muscle memory.
it's so therapeutic. My God, just to go up and down it was very simple, just up and down the rows. I couldn't do anything that you did, but it is, yeah, it's incredibly relaxing. It's an amazing hobby.
Cathartic.
And yeah, you can make yourself
When you're not
really
holding your
cool.
phone.
Well, that's why I started the knit club, was because one, I was becoming a slave to my phone, where I was like, why am I always on this? Why am I like filling up space to do this, searching for the community that I have the platform and the ability to create in person? And I'm like, if I'm feeling this, I know I'm not alone. I know there are a bunch of people in New York like me who are just wanting to find that
Yeah.
sense of togetherness, that third space where you can just, it's not even just like the third space, because there's a million bars, club, whatever third space is, but
Different,
it's
though.
a third space that has like-minded people, but also isn't surrounded by alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just surrounded by kind of meeting new people and kind of focusing on yourself. Because most people come alone,
Yeah.
and then they
That's
just
very cool.
meet friends and hang out.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even have to do anything here. You guys are just chatting.
That's amazing. And it's pretty brave to just show up somewhere alone.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's like
yeah.
kudos that you made a space where people feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I think people also kind of have trust in the community that I'm going to bring, because I've been doing it now for almost a year, that they know that there's going to be people like them there, that they're going to feel some representation.
Yeah. That's lovely.
What is something that you dream of buying?
It's funny because I think I haven't been in a buying headspace. I think this whole year I've been very much so I'm buying secondhand only, but you know, there's always a piece. And my piece is this brand, Small Talk Studios, makes these hand-drawn, very similar to what are they called? The varsity pants, the college pants, where the senior cords, that's what they are. They make these just really sick, custom, hand-drawn pants. Great silhouette. I mean, all the stuff they're doing is really cool. That is my dream buy.
Are you going to break your no, it's not no spend, it's no, you only were going to buy secondhand.
Only secondhand.
Yeah.
And no, these secondhand?
No.
So are you going to break it to get them?
We're going to see.
Okay. We're gonna see.
No, I don't think we are, because I have been feeling really good about it, but
It's something nice to think about
yes. And I'm not going to be mad at myself
if you do it.
if I do it. Because when I think about
We
it, at
won't be
least
either.
supporting an independent brand is better than supporting a big brand that doesn't need it. So if I'm going to spend my money anywhere, I'd like to do it with Small Talk. But I'm going to try and hold out, at least until the end of the summer. I'm not going to wear cords in the New York summer anyways. So
That's
if I
right.
think about it like that.
Yeah.
True.
Well, just it's your willpower.
And I have a lot of willpower. Like I don't need, like the way I rationalize it in my head is like, I don't need these things. Like that's why it's easy for me to not fall into
Yeah.
certain like buying trends where it's like, yeah, I don't need it. Like I have shoes at home that work.
Right.
So it's like
I can just wear those shoes.
Yeah, it's easy for me to do that. But where it's something that is just what it is, and from a brand like that where it's just very bespoke, I'm like, oof,
Yeah.
that would be fun.
That would be fine.
Your latest goodbye. So this will be something secondhand.
It's not a clothing piece,
That's
Okay,
fine.
That's great.
but I found this olive oil phone from the cartoon Popeye, and it's olive oil and her baby sweet pea. And it's like a weird rubberized version of them, and they're just chilling on the base of the phone. It's like a landline. And I just love stuff like that. I have,
Amazing.
my whole wall is filled with, while I don't dress kooky crazy novelty anymore, my apartment reflects it for sure.
Yeah,
So I have a big collection of novelty lamps.
Okay.
And now I think this is my new beginning of
Foray
my
into the
collection of
phones.
novelty phones. That was the thing I was most excited about recently. And it was secondhand.
Ella Emhoff, thank you so much for being a
you,
guest on The
guys.
Goodbye.
This is when we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.